So today topic is RPG language. We are starting from today. So what is a RPG? RPG is nothing but report generation program. Okay, so it is a very hot of our AS400 because everything you can write in the backend in RPGLE only. So basically, if you create a physical file, what you follow, you have a file level and record format level and field level and key field level. When it comes to the logical file, so you have additionally select and omit level, and for join logical file, we have a join level. So as you understand, for every type of file, you have a some kind of levels. Okay, either it is not mandatory, but you have a some levels. Okay, the same way in RPG also we have a some specs. We called in RPG specs. In database we call as the levels. Okay, in RPG this is some bullet points. In RPG code written in various specific available RPG programming, so many of them as a position department dependent, and you can see there are seven type of specification. This is important. Okay, there are seven type of specification that can be coded in RPG program in order mentioned below. So this is the specs. Okay, you have a H spec, F spec, D spec, C spec, O spec, and P spec. We'll discuss about the each and every spec. What is the use of that spec? Is that really the spec is mandatory or not? We'll discuss about the each and every spec. But RPGLE also will have the some specs. How the physical files and logical file will having the some levels. The same way RPG have the some specs. Okay. First, H spec. So these are the various H spec keyword. Every spec have the some keywords. Okay, like in a database level, as you learned, in the field level we have some keywords, right? Based on that, you can restrict your data operations, right? What values are you can enter, or what type of data format it should have. Okay, so the same way in H spec have the some various keywords. These are control your program. Okay, so is there any if any compile option keyword is specified in HSpec, then that will override the options provided during the RPG program. What does it mean? Just take an example. So you have a date format called 20, it's 12 and 2025. It is which format? It is DD and MM, and here is the YYY format. Okay. So now in H specification, I'll mention one format. I wanted to this should be in the MDY format. In Rpgle program, so while you're writing the code, you might write some algorithms, right? You might write some piece of the logic. In the piece of logic, if you wanted to convert any date, that should be in the star MDY only, because in the H specification we clearly mention that what are the date operations are you are going to perform in entire programming, that should be in the star MDY format. So here we are controlling the program level. Okay. So you cannot change in between star DMY or star AS4 or star ESA format. Okay. And there is some very famous options is called star no debug geo. In H specification, we mention star node debug geo. So what is the use of this? You can understand when you're learning the debugging concept. Okay. When you do the debugging concept, basically whenever the file operation is comes, it goes to the file, the cursor goes to the file position. It just takes some time. So to avoid that, we use a star no debug geo in the H specification. And when it comes to the some ILE programs, we'll mention the DFT default activation group is in star no, like this we mentioned. Okay, so these are the some main keywords we use. Okay, here you can see, right, default activation group, this we use. And the main means this is comes to the module. If you mention the main, that is a module. If you mention the no main, that is also module, no main module. Okay, and this is a main module. And star no date format, you can see, right? You can, what are the date format you can control over programming, we can use that. Okay, these are the some different keywords. So here is a one example. You can see we can mention the date edit star ymd, because why you are mentioned star md, wherever you are doing the some date operation within the program, so that should be in the star ymd format. So this is the H specification. In H specification, what are the main keywords you should remember? You can mention star no debug geo, one thing. And we also use the bnd dir, it is a binding directory. And we also use a dft default activation group. Okay, so we can use as a no main. So these are the some main important and very frequently used keywords, these are. Okay. So now we'll discuss about the F specification. Okay. So what is the F spec? F spec. So here we will declare the all the files, database files or physical files. For example, you have a employee file and you wanted to read the data from that employee file. So how you can read it? First, you have to declare that file in the F specification. Like what are the files data you wanted to process it through program, so you have to declare it. It can be physical file, it can be display file, it can be printer files. Whatever file is there, you have to define in the F specification. F means file specification, you can mention it. Apart from that file declaration, we also have the some keywords. If you wanted to rename the record format of your file, you can do that. You wanted to rename the fields, and you can do that. You wanted to read some specific member data. For example, you have a multi-member physical file, so you wanted to read a specific member data. So that keyword, there is some various keywords that you can use in the F specification, and based on that, either you can rename the record format, rename the field, and you can read the specific member data. You can control your file whenever you wanted to open, whenever you wanted to close. By using those keywords, you can control the files, okay, file operations or something. And here is the example of a specification. Here what you are doing is, here you mention the file name. It is a file type. Basically we have a three types of file. File type is three. I means input, okay, so that you can only perform the read operation. So you cannot update or delete the records or insert the records. If you mention type is I, there is a another type U means update. You can update the records, so you can update and delete the records here. Update means. And next O means you can insert the records. Okay. So these are the some different types, file types. I means input, U means update, O means insert the record. File designation is fully preserved file. There are two types here. P means primary file. Okay. And F means fully preserved file. What is the difference between primary file? For example, you have a 1 2 3 4 5 6. So if you mentioned that this is a EMP101, EMP01, let's assume EMP01 have these 6 records. If you mention this EMP01 as a primary file, you have to read the record sequentially. First you have to read 1 2 3 4 5 6. You cannot break the sequence. You cannot read it from 4 5 6. You cannot read it from in between. Okay, in between you cannot read. You cannot read from bottom to top. You cannot read from the 4 5 6 like from middle. If you mention the fully preserved file, you can read it however you want. Either you wanted to read from top to bottom, bottom to top, from middle, you can read that. Okay, that is a fully preserved. This is a file format external described. In a sense, the file structure DDS we have a not inside the program, right? It is outside of the program. Maybe in QDD SSRC1 it is might have. Okay, so that is why it is an external described file. Yeah, record type K means if the file having the any keyword, then you can mention the record address type is K. Otherwise, you no need to mention this K. So device is disk which tell us it is a database file. Okay. So the program, by using this device keyword, the program understand either it is a display file or database file or printer file. Okay. And if you mention the disk, it is a database file. So this is a file specification. So next, D specification. If you wanted to define any variables, okay, variables calling nothing but in the physical file, what you mention the name, number, and address. Those are called the fields, file fields, right? Name, number, and address. For example, in the program, you wanted to create any temporary variable to store your data, any variables. So then you can define that in the D specification. Here you mention the variables. Here also you can mention the arrays. Here also you can mention the data structure. All these you usually define in the D specification. So we'll declare the variables in the spec, data structure and their subfields, variables and array variables here, and exported and imported variables and prototype and procedures also here, and we can define the standalone fields. Okay, all these things you can mention in the D specification only. So this is an example. Here I wanted to define it var1. This is a variable name. Okay. So this is variable name, and S means standalone. Standalone means it is not depending on any other field. So here you have to mention the length. Again, you have to mention the length here, like corner from right side. Here is a S means it is a data type. S means what? Zoned. It is a numeric. Here you can mention the A means alphanumeric. L for in a database, L is for date, but in RPGLE program we use D for the date. Data type D is for the date. Okay, and here also we'll have the some keywords, like if we have a I and Z to initialize the value here, and you can instead of all this in a database we have a reference keyword to refer the field attribute from other file, right? If you wanted to refer the field attribute from other file field or already defined field, you can use the like keyword here. Okay, so we have some keywords here, so that is also you can use here, like keywords and I and Z keyword, and yeah, there are some keywords. That is a D specification. And C specification, where you actually write the program. Okay, where you actually write your program by using operation codes. OP codes means operation codes or built-in functions. So where you actually write the algorithm in the C specification. Okay, here is you write the our code and all calculation logic will come here. Our file operations such as read and write and update delete performed in the specs. All API calls and program calls, subroutine execution, freezer calls, module calls, everything you can do in the C spec. Okay, here you can see I'm just performing the add is the operation code. It is add means addition. You are just adding the number 1 to number 2, and these two results you are storing into the number 3. Okay, so here what it is actually doing, number 3 is equal to number 1 plus number 2 you are doing by using the add operation code. Add is basically add the number 1 to number 2. It is a addition and result is storing into the number 3. So this is a C specification. Next we have a IOP specification. This we will discuss it later when comes to the ILE concepts. I is basically where we will not use here. Okay, it is basically used in the RPG3. Okay, now what we are learning here RPG4. In RPG3 you can also see the I. There is usually mention the fields. What are the fields and record format here? Okay, O specification basically define a what spool file in the program itself, spool file in or report file in program itself. So program itself, it is a P for the procedures. This is comes to the module concepts and ILE concept that we will discuss it. P spec will discuss it when we discuss about the ILE concepts. As of now, you have to understand H spec is control. It has the some keywords. Based on that, you can control the program level. And F spec is basically to define the fields, any kind of fields, database file, display files, or printer files. And D specification to define the variables, arrays, and data structures, and C specification to write the actual logic. Okay, these four specs you have to understand it as of now. Okay, so these are the some different data types related to the RPGLE. It's the same A for alphanumeric, whatever you use in the database, and here only difference D for date. But in the database we use L for date data type, and here we use a D is the date. And this we don't use. This also we not use for integer. We use integer is just numbers, and L means this is also not used. Indicator will use. Okay, indicator basically, for example, if you define IND W underscore IND with data type n, what you can do, W underscore IND is equal to star off or star on, like that you can check. Okay, it is an indicator. So whenever there is some file lines of code, if all lines is executed correctly, you can just switch on the indicator. In future, all the lines are performed correctly by using the indicator. You can check. Okay, while writing the code, you can understand. P means packed. Also you can use pointers. Also will use some. This will not use, and signed we use, and time and Z we use. Okay, so these are some different kind of data types you can check. So now if you are if you wanted to learn RPG, first of all what you have to learn, you have to learn the op codes. Okay, op codes are very very important. So you have to learn about the operation codes. There is around 83 operation codes are there in RPGLE, like add and sub. When it comes to the file operation, read, chain, set ll, set gt. When it comes to the string operations, scan, check. Okay, length, size. When it comes to the date operation, date add dur. Okay, add dur and subdur. So extract. When it comes to the subroutine, BEGSR, EXSR, okay, EndSR. So like this we have a 83 operation codes are there, around 40 built-in functions are there. If you know 83 operations code, when the operation can be used, then you are good enough in the RPGLE. You learned almost 75% of AS400 course. Okay, If you know the 40 built-in functions, this all you know, whenever we can use, what is the syntax, how we can use them. Okay, so then you know everything. So it is allows to the many different types of operations in data. Opcodes are used to perform the specific operation. Each operation code have the their what is the purpose of that operation code and which cases we use that operation code. Okay, each have the that. So these all about the operations codes, and these are all about the different specifications and data types. Okay. So now we will discuss about the loops concept. Okay. So loops in Rpgle we have a different kind of loops called do loops and do while loop and do until loop and for loop and select and when loop. Okay. So first, what is a do loop? Okay, if you can see here, do loop, I just mentioned the do 5 times. Okay, there is no condition to check. Here, not condition even I is equal greater than or less than or number is equal less than 5 or 6 something. There is no condition. I'm blindly saying that you have to execute the statement 5 times. What statement it is execute the 5 statement? What are the statement in between the do and end do? Okay, in between the do and end do, how many statements are there? Two statements are there. So these two lines will be executed 5 times. Okay, why 5 times? You mentioned the do 5 blindly, you mentioned do 5. So that is why what are there in between do and end do, those lines will be executed 5 times. Okay, here you can see d is the variable, it is a d specification you define, it is a standalone field, it is a numeric. Inj is initializing the zero value. Then this is the operation code do. In here you mention how many times. Eval is the operation code as well. What is the use of eval operation? You can assign the value to the field. Okay. If there is any field, you can assigning the value to the that field. And display is the operation code, which it is actually display the value. Entity is since you open the loop here, entity will be the close the loop, and this is the last statement. It tells the it tells the system to this is the last statement of your program, it is the end of the line. So that is why we use the star anlr is equal to star on. So this is a do loop. Do loop, there is no condition. So do loop is construct in RPG program language in US AS400. It is to execute the set of statement repeatedly until the certain condition is met. Okay. So do loop consists of do and group of and do statement. So these are the some things you can learn. Next you can see the do while. Do while is used to looping construct. Here it executes the block of code repeatedly while specific condition is true. When the condition is true, then only it get into the loop and it execute the what are the statements are there inside the loop. Inside the loop means what are the statements in between do and to do. Those statement will be executed. So when the condition is met, here do while we have a condition here. Okay. So if we can see here example. So I wanted to execute these two statement when count value is less than 5. If count value is called 6, I don't want to execute this loop. Okay. When count value is 5, then only I wanted to execute this two statement. How many times? Until the count value become a less than 5, which means 4. Whenever the till the loop will be executed until the count value is equal to 4, because here 4 less than 5, 5 less than 5, it is a false condition, the condition is not satisfying, then it is not get into the loop. Okay. And do, there is no condition. Do while, if condition is become true, then only it executed into the loop, it enter into the loop. Next, do until loop. So it will be execute the code until specific condition will be true. Okay. So here the quite opposite. So do while, when the condition is true, then only it get into the loop. And do until, when the condition is true, then it come out of the loop, it won't execute the loop. Okay. Here this loop will be executed until unless the count is there, right? So here it will be executed count 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 times. When the count become 5, 5 less than 5. Okay. And it is a condition become, sorry, so it will be executed when the condition is it will be come out from the loop when the condition is the true. Okay. If count value is 1, it won't execute because condition is true, right? So 1 greater than 5, it is a false, it will be executed. When condition is 2, 2 greater than 5, it is a false, it will be executed. And 3 greater than 5, it is a false, executed. 4 greater than 5, it will be executed. 5 greater than 5, okay, it is again it's again the condition not true, so then it will be executed. 6 greater than 5, yeah, it is a condition is true. Okay. Then it is come out from the loop. Do while when condition is true, then only it executed. Do until when condition is true, it won't execute the loop. Okay, that is only difference, do while and do until. Okay, so here again we are using the same count variable. Do while is operation. Here also assigning the value, display the value, and end do. What is a if else and end if? For example, you wanted to write the logic based on the some certain condition, then you go with the if is used to condition for when group of operation, else if used to combine if. So end if is the end of the loop. It basically, if or end if you can write, or you can write if else end if is a condition true, if condition is not true, it goes to the else statement, then end if. You can also write multiple conditions. You can do if, else if, again you can do else if, and end if. Like this also you can write. Okay, so this is a one example. For example, you have a marks. Whenever the marks, now assigning the marks, for example, the student got a marks 30. So based on the condition, I wanted to define it which grade he got. Okay, if marks is greater than or equal to 90, I wanted to display it as a grade. Else if condition is not such, then it would goes to check this condition. If marks are greater than or equal to 75, I wanted to show it as a B grade. If marks are greater than or equal to 40, then I wanted to show as a C grade. If marks are greater than or otherwise, he has a fail. Okay, so this is a some if condition, else if condition. Here also you can do if and else. Here I use the different types of else if, and here I am just using if, else, and if. Okay, if marks is greater than 40, then pass, and else it is a fail. Okay, so this is a if, else, and if demo. And for loop also you can just loop the how many times you wanted to loop it here. Okay, one variable. Here you can see I wanted to, there is a for counter value from 1 to 10, I wanted to iterate it but by 2, which means you will get the only even number of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like this. Until how 1 to 10 I wanted to iterate it by 2. Okay, there is a difference between the two, so should be difference to, you will get all even numbers like this. Okay, all even numbers or odd numbers. I think 3 1 after 2, then 1 you will get, I think 3 5 7 9. I think like this you will get for loop. Okay, select and when condition again same as a if and end if only. Here basically, for example, your month is 13, I just wanted to know what is this month. Okay, select if month is equal to 1, display Jan. If month is equal to, display Feb. If month is equal to 3, then display as a March. If month is equal to 4, display as a April. If month is equal to 5, display as a May. And if it is not satisfied this, it is an invalid month. Okay, so these are selection criteria. In selection criteria, what is the main important is, for example, this month is 13. Okay, so then it will check the this condition, it checks all the condition. For example, month is 1, it check the first condition, it becomes a true, it's satisfied, it won't check other conditions here. Okay, it directly go to the end select. But in if and else if, even though it is satisfied, it will check again all the I think all the conditions. Okay, so in select condition, once the condition is met, it comes to the direct end select. So these are the some different kind of the loops and the specs. Now we will do the hands-on on this. We'll just do some hands-on. So then we'll get. Okay, so I'm creating another file, source physical file, CRT-SRC-PF. Everybody should create another source physical file for Rpgle alone. CRT-SRC-PF F4. You can QRPGLE SRC1. I'm creating current library only, so you can do 112 enter. So now I wanted to go there, work MBR PDM, enter. See QDD SRC, right? I wanted to go to the QRPGLE SRC2, enter. SRC1, I guess, enter. Okay, there is no members. First, what I will do, I'll just do the test 01. Here, RPGLE should be type, enter, enter. For H specification, you have to give IPH, take F4. Sorry, IPH and hit and enter. Here you can give the keyword. Okay, I'm giving star node debug geo. Okay, I'm just giving any one keyword as an example. So this is how H specification will be. Now F specification IPF enter. So you wanted to create test 01 is the file name. What type of file? If you wanted to see what are the things you should give here, you just take F1 here. So I means it indicates the input file, O means output file, U means the update file, and C means the it is the what display file. Okay, so this is how you can give. Here what I will give, I will give the I means input file, and here also you can take F1, then you can understand P is the primary file, S is the secondary file, R is the record address file. So we will not use all these things. In most of cases it will be fully procedure file. So you can take F12 and give F here. Okay, end of the file sequence file addition you wanted to give. Here external described file format is external described file. Record address k, then device it is called disk means it is a database file. So this is how you can declare the file. Now you can go upd for example I wanted to declare number 1. It is a number 1. What type of field declaration type you have to give? Yes, standalone. And what is the length you can give here? For example I wanted to give file length. What is the data type? Yes, S is a zone, and here decimal position you can give 0. And if you wanted to initialize the value here is ing 0. Okay, which means initialization value is a 0. Okay, so this is how you can define the variable. And you wanted to write the logic ipc means it is a C specification. For example number 1 and number 2 and store into the some res field. Okay, so this is how you can use the operation code. Okay, so this is all about the different specs. Okay, you can remove this. We don't want this. So I just show you how you can do. So first we'll write the logic for the do. Okay. Hmm. pgm I mentioned do, pgm1 do. Okay, you can mention rpgle enter. Enter. So I wanted to define one variable ipd enter. Okay, with the number called number. Okay, that is a field name. It's standalone field, and it is having the length 5. Yes, 0 enter. Okay, now I wanted to write a logic ipc means it will give the C specification. I wanted to do 5 times. How many times? 5 times. So once do I wanted to assign eval number is equal to number plus 1. What is the value of number? 0. 0 plus 1, 1. 1 will be stored into the number eval. Enter. So now display. I wanted to display is operation code. What value wanted to display it? I wanted to display number only, right? I'll give num. Enter. So now I open the loop. Now I wanted to close my loop. End to do. End to do is the closing the loop. Enter. Okay, so now I have to tell my program to what is the last statement here. Eval star inlr is equal to star on. This is my last statement. Enter. Enter. Okay, now as you can see you define the one variable called num, and you are saying without giving any condition, just iterate my these two statement 4 and 5 times. Okay, so do 5 times. So what is the output you will get? Use the display file. You wanted to see the output, then use the display file. So what you can do, you can do the same file enter. Here also you can do the 14 option to compare. So what is the command? If you wanted to do the through command CRT BND RPG. Okay, then hit and enter. Hit and enter. You can see it is the created. The program is 00 is a high severity, which means whatever you writing syntax is correct, and it has a created. If you get severity 10, 20, 30, 40, there is a errors in your code. You have to check the code and you have to correct that. Then you have to recompile it again. Okay, here there is no error, that is why I got a severity 00. Now you can call this program by using the call statement, call pgm1d do. Okay, enter. As you can see, number 1 displayed 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, as you mentioned that do 5 times, it is displayed as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 got? First time the number value is 0. When the loop come into the 0 plus 1, 1. And as we said, it needs to be iterate 5 times. The second time 1 plus 1, 2, and 2 plus 1, 3. Like that it is iterated 5 times. Okay, this is a do loop. I'm just copying same and we'll do the do while loop here. So in the do while loop also will do the same, but now I'll add a condition when number less than 5. Okay, now here you have to mention the do while. So do while number less than 5, whenever the number value is the less than 5, then only this loop will be executed, otherwise you no need to be execute this loop. And what will the output here? Just 14, compile it, call it, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. You will get until 4 only, and 5 also. Why you get 5? Because when comes to the 4, it get into the loop, and 4 plus 1 5, and display statement is there, right? That is why we are getting 5. So if you wanted to see, I'll just do the STRDBG. STR, this debugging process will learn later. But for now, okay, STRDBG means if you wanted to see the step by step, okay, step by step how your program is executing, we basically do the debugging. This the debugging again two types. There is a batch debugging and interactive debugging. What we are currently doing is a interactive debugging. STRDBG, you can do PGM1. Before doing the debug, you should make sure your source is compiled as a, here we have an option called, sorry, F4, F10 page down. Here we have a called option called DBG view. DBG view is there, right? It should be star source. So before you are doing the debug, you should mention the DBG view as a star source. Hit and enter and enter. Okay, now it is compiled. Now you can able to do the debugging. What is the debugging means? You wanted to see the how the each line is executing, because now you call the program pgm1 do while, you are directly getting the output, but I wanted to see how these values are coming in the backend. In that case, you can do the sdrdbg. You can just do sdrdbg and pgm1 do while f4. Here you have to mention the update production file star s and open source level is a star s. These two parameters you have to make it as a star s, and here also star s. Okay, print screen. I'm just giving the screenshot for you guys. Okay, I'll paste it later. So here you have to mention the star s and star s. Enter it into the X wait, right? It will take some time. Okay, just wait for time. So now the source is coming. Here you can add the breakpoint by using F6. For example, you wanted to add the breakpoint fourth line, you can add it. Why you are adding the breakpoint? When you call this program directly, it will be executed from the fourth line. Okay, but I wanted to see from the first line. Then you can place the cursor at first line. You can add a breakpoint. F6 is the first line we added the breakpoint. Okay, now you can take F3 and you can call the program call pgm1 do while. Enter. See, so now what is the F10? Now what is the value of number? You can take, you can place the cursor at number. You take F11. F11 is showing the 0 0, right? So now the number value is a 0. Okay. Now you can take F10. Here 0 plus 1 what? It will become 1. Okay. If you take 0 plus 1, now number value is a 1. Then the value is displayed. Okay. So next time the number value is now currently what? 1. So if you can see 1, now condition is satisfied, 1 less than 5. So condition is satisfied, that is why it get into the loop. F10, now number value become 2, because a number already is there is a 1, 1 plus 1 2. Now you can see the number value is 2. Here bottom you can see, right, number value is 2. Now display the 2. Okay, now it goes, what is the number value now? 2. 2 less than 5, it is the still satisfying the condition. Okay, now get into the loop. Now this number value become 3. 2 plus 1 what? 3. Okay, now display it and it goes the showing 3. Now number value is 3, right? Still it is satisfy the condition. It get into the loop, and 3 plus 1 4 become, and it goes to the 4 displayed and do. Now number value is what? 4, and still it is satisfy the condition. Now the 4 plus 1 what? 5. It become the 5. Now it is showing the 5 and end do. Okay, so now number value is 5. So 5 less than 5, it is not satisfied, it is the false condition. So that is why it not executing the 4 and 5. Instead of that, it directly get into the end 2. It goes the this last statement and it come out from the program. Okay, so this is how the loop will be worked. Once your debugging done, you can do the end dbg. End dbg is the, so ending the debug. So this is the do while loop. In do while loop, what happening, whenever the condition is satisfying, whenever the condition is true, then only the loop will be executing. Okay, now you take option 3, do while. Now you take do until, enter. So instead of do while, what I will do here, I just mention the do until only. The same program will mention the do until. So what will happen, we'll see. I'll compile it as a source 14 F4 F10 page down. You can see the page down. Sorry. Here you can do the dbgv as a star source. S for you RC star source. S for you RC. Sorry. Yes, OU RC star source. Enter. So now it is a
Sir,
compiled. I wanted to do the strdbg. Okay. So strdbg for this.
sir, it didn't change the condition, sir.
Yeah, we can discuss the doubts later after this. Let's complete. Okay.
Okay, sir.
SDRDBG. Oh, sorry. Here you have to mention the do until. Wait for some time. After that, just NDBG. What is our program? Do until, right? You can mention the do until. So here you mention the do until. So I'm not changed anything. I just changed the do while to do until only. Okay, now we will see how this program will work. Earlier we got a some output 1 2 3 4 5 because the till 4 the condition is satisfying, so we got the values. So now I'm adding the breakpoint. You can add the breakpoint at one line by using the shortcut br space 1. Br is the breakpoint. From which line you wanted to add it, you can add it. Okay, like this also you can add. So now I'm calling this program. Okay, so now you take F10. So here what is the number value is 0, right? 0, so 0 less than 5. So based on the do until condition, what will happen, the first iteration, even it is a false or true, the one time it will be executed the do until. Okay, even the condition true or false, irrespective of that condition, at least one time this loop has executed. Okay, the first time it is executed, it shows the one value. Second time, the what is the 1 less than 5. Now condition is true. When the condition is true, it's not executing the 4 and 5. See, okay, when the condition is true, do until the first iteration will be executed, even the condition false or true, at least one time it is executed. The next second iteration, if condition is true, 1 less than 5, condition is true, condition is satisfying, then it won't executing any other statement inside the loop. Okay, it directly come out and it star nl is called star on. Okay, so that is a do until. So what if I wanted to execute it more, you can do ndbg, enter. So do until is there, right? You can do here, you can take option 6 here. Option, you can give f4, initialize the value as a 6, inj 6. Okay, enter. Or inj you can give 10, and here number is equal to number 1, number minus 1 you can do. So in this case, what output you will get. So when you call this, the first time it condition not true, it will until 5 it will be executed. So then it will become 4. So this is the do until. Okay, now if and else if, right? And pgm one, if condition. Okay, rpgle. In if condition, what is the things in IPD? I wanted to define as a marks. Okay, then it is a standalone variable. I'm just defining as a 3 length. Okay, 3s0, 3s0. Okay, enter. So now I wanted to assign the some value to the my marks. Okay, so eval operation basically assign the value. Marks is equal to, I'm assigning 30 marks. Okay, enter. Now I wanted to check the condition. If marks, if whatever marks is there, if marks greater than 40, okay, greater than or equal to 40, then I wanted to display pass. Okay, the candidate was pass display. Else, if it's not greater than, else condition, if condition is not satisfied, what is the other thing? So display, I wanted to display as a fail. Okay, and since I open the if loop, I have to close it the loop, right? Sorry, if condition end if, enter. Okay, now you can do eval star inlr is equal to star on, enter, enter. Okay, here what it is doing, since our marks is 30, this will also will put into the debug mode and you can understand. Okay, so pgm1 f4 f10 page down, here I have to give the source. So if you wanted to do the debug, first you have to compile it as a source, then you can do hdrdbg and pgm1 if, right? Therefore here these two values you mention as a star s and star s, then you have to mention star s, enter. It goes to the X wait. We have to wait for some time until unless it comes into the debug mode. So now add the breakpoint br1 f10. So you can call this. Okay, call. You can take 10. Okay. So f10 is step by step execution. F10 and f10. Okay. Here what is our current marks? Current marks are 30, right? Condition is not satisfying. If condition is satisfied, then the sixth statement will be executed. Since the condition is not satisfied, it goes to the else part. Okay, now it is an else part. What are there in else part? It will be, it shows that value. Okay, display fail, it shows the display fail and it goes into the end. So you can do ndbg. So whenever you call, so this is the way also you can call directly c and enter. You can see output as a fail. Okay, for example, if I change the value here, instead of 30 I'll give 50 here, so I should get as a pass, right? You can compile it and you can call this program, you are getting the value as a pass. Okay, this is a if. So there is another condition I wanted to check different, whether it is a grade, b grade and c grade. Okay, so you can do pgm2 and if. So pgm2 if same marks is the 50. If marks are greater than or equal to 40, you can mention the pass. Okay. If again, else if, okay, one more, else if marks marks greater than or equal to 70, here you can mention 40 means c grade, grad c grade. Okay, here if it is greater than or equal to 60, then it is the b grade. Okay, and again else if I wanted to copy these two lines, copy it, I wanted to paste it before this, b enter. Okay, like this also you can do. Here you can mention the 70, you can do C grade. And if here we are doing the multiple checks, right? You are giving the marks and you are checking if it is a greater than or equal to 40, display C grade. If it is greater than or equal to 60, display B grade. If greater than or equal to 70, display C grade. Okay, and if. So what it is do, maybe eventually it display the, call the program C grade. What if I change the value? See, you got the 50, right? You are not, it is the less than 60 and 70, that's why it displayed 60. What if I give the 70 here? Okay, 14, enter, call. Still it is showing the C grade, right? Why it is showing the C grade means the first condition only satisfying, that is why it's showing the C grade. Have I written the logic here? Just check. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just do this 90
Sir,
and here.
sir, you have written that marks greater than or equal to 70 is C grade, so it's showing C grade.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It should be as a grade. Okay, thank you for correction. Here I'll put A grade, here I'll put B grade, and here I'll put C grade. I'll change the value. It is a 40. Okay. So now what it is showing, we'll check. Now it is showing B grade. Why? Greater than or equal to 70 is the B grade, right? That is why it's showing. What if I give 90 here? F3 enter 14 condition. You got the A grade. Okay. So like this you can do. If you mention the 40 here, enter 14 here, it is a C grade. Okay. So this is how you can write the multiple if condition. Here we are doing the nested ifs. Okay. You are getting one if, the again one if, again one if. So you can also write it here, and if it is nothing else, you can do fail. Okay. So here what you can mention, I enter, you can else statement display as a fail. Else I enter C, you can mention as a fail. Okay. You can display fail. That's it. 14 enter. Call the program. C grade, right? So now if I give the value as a some 30 here, changing the value 30, it should show fail when you call fail. Okay, so this is how you can do the multiple if condition. The same way you can also use the select criteria as well. Okay, for select also you can perform same pgm1 select. Okay, and option 2, instead of if, what I do in the select, basically first we'll do the select. Okay, select will be open. Here you can do the when, and instead of else if, you can do the when, and here also when. Here you can other. Okay, other, else is the other. Here you can use a end sl, end sl, enter. Okay, the same way you can also use the select condition. If you mention and compile this, it should be given as a fail. Okay, if you change any value to here 60, enter. Okay, if you 60 enter and 14 compile it, so when you call this program, it shows as a B grade because 60 we have in the B grade. For example, if you given 90 here, if you go and give the 90 here, 90 and F3 enter, when you compile this and call the program, you will get the A grade. Select and if is the same. So we will do the some debugging on select and when, what is the main difference. Okay, how those are working. So I'm just debugging the source, enter, enter. I'll do strdbg. Okay, strdbg for this. Strdbg, control V, F4. Here you can mention star s and star s, enter. It will take some time to get. Okay, you can add the breakpoint here, F10. So you can call this program. So now you can see this is a select criteria, right? Marks is 90. So now this condition is satisfied, right? Greater than or equal to 90. So after that it's displaying the A grade. Now it is not checking any other conditions, like it's not checking the seventh condition, it's not checking the this line. Okay, it directly get into the end select. Okay, if once one condition is met, it is directly going to the end select, it's not checking the other conditions. So what will happen in the this else and else if. Okay, we'll check how it will be checked for this as well. It is there in the 30. Here I'll give, here also I'll give 90 so that we can understand. You can do strdbg pgm2f, enter, wait for some time. You can add the breakpoint here. F10. You can call PGM to if. Call it F10. So now the first condition itself it is satisfying. Now we'll check it is check other conditions as well. This is also not checking. Maybe both are will work same way, but it's up to you whether you can go with the multiple select whens or multiple else if. Okay, there might be some difference that we have to find out it, because otherwise why they use the same thing for same functionality. Okay, so this is the select and when. The last loop we have a for loop. Okay, F6 for PGM and RPGLE. Here also will take IPD variable num. You can mention the standalone variable. So you can give 5 year S0. Sorry, here you have to mention here 5S0. Enter. You can do IPC. Here what I do for number 1 to 10 I'll take. Okay, 1 to 10 for number equal to, forget, number equal to 1 to 10 and then okay, and you wanted to display that number, what is an m number. Okay, you don't want to iterate it here. Okay, and for, and you can do eval star inlr equal to star on. Enter. Enter. Okay, so what you can do, you can just file it and for pgm, right, compile it. So it will be called, and you can call this program. You can do 1 2 3 4 until 10. It will come 1 2 3 4 5 6 9 10. Okay, for example, if you use the down keyword, so for example, down to down to 2, down to sorry, by 2. Okay, by 2. So what will get, usually get the only odd numbers 1 3 5 like this. There is a difference 5. Okay, for example, by 1 you will get, and by 3 also if you mention, you will get difference between the 3. For 2 next to following number is like this you will get. Okay, so this is all the loops